Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. I'm actually very excited for this one. We're going to be doing a Throwback Thursday style video, which I have not done on my channel in such a long time. But do you guys remember when Throwback Thursday was like the thing? I remember in college, I would literally be laying in bed on Wednesday nights planning my Throwback Thursday Instagram picture the next day. Did anyone else do that? Or is that just me? Today, we have Throwback Thursday, and we're gonna be throwing it back to a video I filmed in 2019. I believe it was Jen Loves Reviews first did the video where it was reviewing my 20 favorite products from 20 favorite brands in under 20 minutes. And today I was scrolling through my old videos because I'm trying to gather information for an upcoming video about everything that I purchased in 2019. And I was scrolling through and I saw that video and I was like, oh my gosh, it would be really fun to go back, reflect on the 20 favorite products from 20 favorite brands in 2019 and see what I still have in my collection, what I still consider to be a favorite from the brand. Because I mean, 2 years passing in the makeup industry, like that has to be like at least equivalent to like dog years. So like at least 1 year equaling 7, 2 years 14, like 2.5 years at this point. So you know, we're pushing, what would that be, like 17, 18 years time? Do you guys know where I'm going with this? Anyway, I only have 12 of the 20 products even still in my collection that I considered to be favorites from these brands. So I'll leave my original video linked down below. But today I'm going to be talking you through those 20 favorite products from 20 favorite brands. I doubt this will end up happening in under 20 minutes. And I'll let you know if they are still favorites, still in my collection, whatever it might be. So if you guys are interested in this video, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project planning content or just chit-chatting about makeup and doing fun videos like this, I hope that you'll consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Okay, like I mentioned in the introduction, I only have 12 of the 18 products even still in my collection, which is crazy to think about, but so many makeup releases have come out. These brands that I'm going to be talking to you about have released other products, or I've tried other products from these brands, and I'll let you know whether or not these products are still one in my collection, two a favorite. But I'm not going to share with you, if it's not currently my favorite product from that brand, I'm not going to share with you my favorite product from that brand currently, because I think I'm going to do an updated version of this. Would you guys like to see that? So I'm first gonna hop into my notes and we're gonna go through the 8 products that are not even in my collection any longer. So that must tell you they're not still a favorite, right? So up first, I thought this was hilarious. I talked about Morphe, and Morphe is not a brand, like I swear, even if Morphe released something that I thought was like the coolest, most innovative product of its time, I don't feel like I would purchase from Morphe. And I don't know, I just don't agree with the company. I don't really know what it is. I just don't like Morphe as a company. For whatever reason, they've done some shady things, but also just, yeah, I don't know. So I don't purchase from Morphe anymore. But my favorite product from them that I have listed was their Morphe Continuous Mist Setting Spray. I had purchased that a couple of times, and to be honest with you, that would be like the one product that still to this day, I still think about at times. Like I'm like, oh, would be nice to have the Morphe Continuous Mist Setting Spray. And I'm not gonna say, like, never say never. Maybe one day I will own that again. I would probably say that if I still purchase from Morphe, that would be the product I would still purchase, but I no longer am not currently supporting Morphe, so I don't have that in my collection. Speaking of setting mists, another product no longer in my collection, I had for Ofra, their Makeup Fixer Spray. And I remember I did really enjoy their Makeup Fixer Spray. I just like to try new setting sprays, and there really isn't a setting spray that I've become so committed to that I want to continue to repurchase that versus trying other mists, with the exception of like the Urban Decay All Nighter, and I feel like there's one more I'm forgetting. But regardless, I used that spray up. I really liked it. I would still recommend that spray if it's still like the same formula, like if they haven't reformulated. I thought it was a good mist, but I don't even think I repurchased that. And at this point in time, I haven't purchased from Ofra in quite some time. I feel like the only products I still have left in my collection are like their liquid lipsticks and highlighter. And I have the Blush Duo in collaboration with Samantha March, which I really like. So I don't know if so the mist probably not a fave. Still would not be my top choice. Like if I had to get rid of Ofra products to bring the mist back in, I wouldn't do that. Am I making sense? It's 3:15 in the afternoon and I've had a sandwich today, but I swear, like, maybe I need to eat a snack. My brain is just not working quickly today. Okay, from ColourPop, I thought this was also so interesting. I put the Dream Street palette, and ooh, so I depotted that palette into just a Z palette and kept the majority. I think I kept all but 2 shades. So clearly I did really like that, but I don't even know why I depotted it, because I feel like in my mind, I thought I was like decluttering a palette then, even though I kept all but 2 shades. So I feel like I can't still consider the Dream Street a favorite. You guys know I've been raving about the ColourPop Limoncello palette. I love that palette. But yeah, Dream Street obviously not still a favorite. For MAC, I did a product and then I honorable mentioned a product still in my collection, which is the MAC Fix Plus, which I would consider my favorite product from MAC. But I had mentioned that the MAC Hyper Real Grow. Should I quit for the day and just film tomorrow? I had mentioned that the MAC Hyper Real Glow face palette was my favorite product at the time, and I decluttered that out of my collection. I think it was because it was a face palette. I thought the formula was really nice. I do really enjoy MAC highlighters in general. They are one of my favorite products that they carry. Again, I still would consider the MAC Fix Plus to be a favorite. I decluttered that, I think, because it was a face palette and I just wasn't reaching for it enough to justify keeping it in my collection. It wasn't like my favorite highlighter formula, but it was my favorite product in the MAC line at the time. So that is also decluttered out of my collection. Okay, next up, this like tore at my heartstrings when I saw this one. So for Tarte, if you're a longtime subscriber, can you remember or can you think of what I would have said for Tarte? I was truly obsessed with the Tartelette In Bloom palette. I couldn't shut up about it. I always recommended it. I would always find ways to talk about it in videos, but my palette I had purchased it in like 2015, 2016 when I was first starting to build my makeup collection. It's the first eyeshadow palette, with the exception of like the Urban Decay Naked 2, which I had in college. The Tartelette In Bloom palette is the first palette that I went out when I was starting to build a makeup collection to purchase. So there was a sense of like nostalgia, or just like I couldn't get myself to part with this, but it had gotten so old that the shadows just were not performing as they once did. And I will say, this is a product that I still miss. I have actually been on the Ulta website thinking about purchasing this the first month or so of this year, just because I really miss that palette. It just feels like that's a palette I would get a ton of use out of still to this day. It's very quick and easy when I think about just looks to do when I'm running out the door. But I also brought that palette traveling with me whenever I went traveling. So I would say it's still a favorite, even though it's not in my collection. And it's a palette I do still think about considering to purchase again. And I could see myself purchasing that by the end of the year. They have like the new big, is it the Tartelette something like In Bloom XL possibly, but I feel like I wouldn't like the XL version. For the brand Hourglass, which is another brand that I'm currently not supporting at this time, so not bringing in new products from them, I had Hourglass Mood Exposure, and I would say like still to this day, so I finished that blush up last year. That would definitely be my still favorite product from Hourglass, but I'm obviously not supporting them at this time, so I have not replaced that in my collection. Beautiful blush. I'm just not purchasing from Hourglass. For Becca, which Becca's no longer a brand, so even if I wanted to repurchase this, I couldn't. But I had put their Sunlit bronzer, and I do remember in 2019 I was really into the Sunlit bronzer. I was panning it. It was something I was reaching for all the time. And to be honest, if Becca was still a brand, I could see myself wanting to go out and repurchase another one at this time. I think I had considered purchasing one towards the end of them being a company last year, and then I was like, it doesn't really make sense. But reflecting back, I feel like if I were to choose my absolute favorite Becca product at this point in time, it would be their highlighter in the shade, why can I not think of it? Rose Quartz. Such a favorite from Becca. Such a beautiful blush, or not blush, such a beautiful highlight. One that I still reach for all the time. I have a little mini of it that I'm still trying to finish, and it's taking me forever. And then I also have that shade in one of my old Becca face palettes, which I'll be keeping. So for Essence, I had put the Essence eyeliners, and reflecting back, I feel like I hadn't tried enough from Essence at the time to really include Essence in this list, but their eyeliners, so I don't have this in my collection. I finished this one last year, and I have so many other brown eyeliners in my collection that I couldn't justify repurchasing at the time. Actually, I do have an Essence. I guess I lied. I do still have one of the shades. I just was obsessed with the shade 2, which was called But First Espresso. These pencils are super creamy. I'll just swatch the nude one right here. They're super creamy. They retail for $2.99 and they stay in the waterline all day. So I would still say the Essence eyeliners are my favorite, but I have other brown eyeliners to get through before I repurchase the brown one that I referenced in this video. For Too Faced, I thought this one was really interesting because I remember I was obsessed with this foundation at the time. I had put the Too Faced Born This Way foundation as my favorite, and truly that was like my favorite foundation. I think even in my collection at the time, I had gone through 2 or 3 bottles of the Too Faced Born This Way foundation before I eventually just feel like my preferences changed, and you know, the types of foundations that were releasing changed. Last year there were so many like lighter coverage foundations that released, and that really started to be my sweet spot, and like really what I was looking for in a foundation was something with a little bit less coverage than the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. So I no longer have the Too Faced Born This Way in my collection. It's not something I foresee myself repurchasing in the future, but that one was truly like not even a favorite from Too Faced at the time, but like a tippity top favorite in my entire makeup collection. So those are all the products that I don't still have in my collection, but I do still have products laid out in front of me. So I'm gonna really go in no particular order other than what I grabbed for first. Up first, I have the Smashbox from Smashbox, their Cali Contour Kit. Still a favorite. I was truly obsessed with this in 2019. I would literally not shut up about this palette, which I'm maybe not quite as obsessed with it. I don't reach for it quite as frequently, but I do have a pan in this. I hit pan in this shade right here last year. This would absolutely still be 100% my favorite Smashbox product that I've tried. From First Aid Beauty, I have, could you have guessed it if you are a longtime subscriber, the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothing Priming Moisturizer. First Aid Beauty, I love their skincare line, but I love their primers. Last year, I think in my if I could only choose one, or my ranking my primer video, I want to say I ranked the Hyaluronic Hydrating Primer over the Coconut Skin, but now I'm having a change of heart and I'm back on the Coconut Skin Smoothing Priming Moisturizer train. So this one as well, still a favorite 2 years later. Let's go through like all that I would consider to be still true favorites. Yes, Buxom, the Seychelles blush. Also wouldn't shut up about this in 2019. Still a favorite. Not much more needs to be said about that. Okay, and everything else I'm like kind of questioning. Like, is it still a favorite? Like, probably not the tippity top favorite. The one that like is giving me the hardest time is this one. This is from Dior. It is their Forever foundation. But I would say, I think if I had to choose, I go back and forth and I go through these phases, but I feel like at this current moment in time, I would choose the Dior Forever Skin Glow over the Dior Forever, but I like both, and I've tried more from Dior, and I really am impressed with quite a few products in their line, but still I would say their foundations are my favorite, but I just think I prefer the Dior Forever Skin Glow at this current moment in time. From Milk, I have the Milk Kush Mascara. There's other mascaras I enjoy more than the Milk Kush these days, and I also feel like from Milk, oh yeah, I'm not sharing my new favorites. I've been failing at this. This is not my favorite Milk product anymore. Okay, this one's tough. So this one from Dose of Colors, this is in the shade Can You Not. Again, like 2018, 2019, I literally could not put this down. I feel like I've used this so much. The Dose of Colors lip glosses last forever. I finally finished one up last year. It took me forever to finish it up. I'm like back and forth on whether or not for Dose of Colors it would be either their lip gloss or their liquid lipstick. I prefer a gloss these days, but I've been loving doing a liquid lipstick and then a gloss. I actually put this down on my lips today and then went over top of this with the shade Mondays, their liquid lipstick, and that's the lip I have on right now, and I actually am digging this. It would be like a tie for my favorite Dose of, I feel like I'd have to go with the Dose of Colors liquid lipsticks over the lip glosses. Actually, I like the Dose of Colors lip gloss, but it's a little bit sticky. There's other glosses I would be fine with having over the Dose of Colors, but the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick formula is my favorite liquid lipstick formula, so The lip gloss, not a fave anymore. From Fenty Beauty, I thought this was funny because I truly remember how freaking up, like the favorites I shared in that 2019 video, like some of those I was truly like, I don't like to use the word obsessed, even though I feel like I frequently use it, but I was truly obsessed with these products. Like I could not put them down, and the Fenty Kilowatt Highlight in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal was 100% one of those products. As you can tell, I have a huge pan on this side, and then last year I ended up hitting pan on this side as well. This is so old in my collection, I really should just replace this, but I also, like, that panner in me really just wants to actually finish up both sides of this and like give myself the biggest pat on the back for finishing this up. I would not say that the Fenty Kilowatt Highlights are my favorite product in their line. I still think they're nice, but there's other highlight formulas that I prefer and other products that have come out now in the Fenty Beauty line that I prefer over the Kilowatt. So this one, not a favorite anymore. I thought this was interesting. I included Clinique in my list, and I still feel like I haven't tried all that many products from Clinique either. I had included the Clinique Cheek Pop on my list. I currently only have Pink Honey Pop. I used to own quite a few more of the Clinique Cheek Pops. I still think this is a really nice blush formula, and if there's a shade in the line that you're interested in, I would absolutely recommend it to you. But I've tried a couple of Clinique foundations, and it would be a toss-up. I don't know that I could confidently say this is my favorite product at this point in time in the Clinique line, but I still think it's a really nice blush formula. So but I think there's another Clinique product that's more of a favorite. Okay, from Natasha Denona. I had not tried all that much Natasha Denona in 2019, but I had included the all over body powder, Body Glow, in the shade 1. Clearly, it was a favorite. I have a huge pan of this. This I haven't reached for in a long time. I feel like I sort of got burnt out with this after how frequently I used it in 2019. I do want to pull this back out and use this some more. I was always interested in trying the Super Glow, which I did not try from Natasha Denona, but I feel like I couldn't, because I barely reached for this last year. If this was truly still like a favorite Natasha Denona product, I know I would have reached for it more. So this also, not a favorite anymore. Next up from NARS, I have the Sun Washed Diffused Bronzer in the shade Laguna. Mine broke. I didn't actually hit pan, but mine broke. That's why you're seeing this over here. I really did enjoy this bronzer for quite a while. I feel like I hadn't tried too many NARS products, and I still feel like I haven't tried all that many NARS products. But I will say I have a couple other NARS products that I think if I had to choose which ones to keep versus declutter, I would keep a couple of my other NARS products over the Laguna bronzer, especially considering this is a bronzer. Every time I look at my bronzers, like, or before I open my drawer and start to just even think about bronzers that I could potentially declutter, I always think of this one. Then I swatch it and I'm like, no, I can't get rid of that. But just because I like consider decluttering this in my mind, I feel like I couldn't consider it a favorite anymore, right? And then the final product is from Huda Beauty. You guys know I love Huda Beauty, love her eyeshadows, love a lot of products in her line. I had included the Smoky Obsessions palette as my favorite, which I will say I still absolutely love and adore this palette. I know I had brought this with me to on my trip to Vegas in 2019 and just like loved the way my makeup looked my entire vacation and was just obsessed with this palette after that. I will say this is a palette that like I could never part with because I don't think you can get the Smoky Obsessions anymore, and I still love this palette. It would be tough for me to say this is a favorite because there's other Huda products and other Huda palettes that I had. Oh, it's so hard for me to say like this is one. It's still such a tippity top. Like I feel so bad saying it's not a favorite, even though I feel like this isn't my tippity top Huda favorite, but it's really close. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. All right, you guys, and after that is going to wrap it up for today's video, this Throwback Thursday style video. I hope that you enjoyed and had fun. I would love to know if you remember your favorites from 2019 and if any of them are still favorites today, or just leave a comment about any of the products that we talked about in today's video. I would love to hear from you guys. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.